Good day, everybody. How are you? I love it when I have time to talk to you, to appreciate you for listening to my show and my messages. It's sometimes not very easy, but you do it according to the will of God. And there are certain messages that the Lord wants us to talk about so that different people understand exactly what's happening. And this morning it was so surprising because I had planned to do a YouTube, and then my friend Vicky calls. And when Vicky calls, I was like, eh, it has been a while since Vicky called me. So when she called, she was like, Jackie, I'd like to talk to you. I don't know whether you have time. I told her, my dear, I have time. I have a lot of time. So we started talking about mental health. And she also told me how she had been through depression and how so many people are scared of saying they're depressed, or they're depressed but they don't know. One of the two. So she's like, Jackie, the thing is that the good thing is that you went yourself to the doctor and told them that you are not well. And you did not understand, because when they would check malaria, when they would check pneumonia, when they would check whatever, everything was coming out proper, negative. And what exactly was that showing me? Until one of the doctors was like, maybe Jackie, you go and see a psychiatrist. Oh, my mind was like, what? Are you like joking or what? You mean I'm mad? That's how people take it. So he was like, no, you look like an educated person. So maybe you go and read more about mental health and understand exactly where this may be coming from. Because we've checked like twice. And that is when I'm not sick of pneumonia. But I had a period when I was really sick of pneumonia. And then a period where I really feel funny, weird, and I don't know what it is. So I went to the psychiatrist and had a word with him. And he said, yeah, with the questions that he had given me, he was like, yes, it's true, you're depressed, but I want you to also to work with me, with the psychologist. And that's what started happening. And I started feeling better. The only thing that is really bothering me is now like being lightheaded and dizzy. But otherwise, everything else is absolutely brilliant with me. So I decided to say and start and talk about mental health. I feel like I'm burning with information within myself and trying to tell people that, you know what, mental health is okay. It's not something that you have stigma over. It's not something that you fear to talk about. I know so many people could be scared and say, if we talk about mental health, these guys are going to say I'm mad. If I talk about mental health, and if we can remember the gentleman who threw himself off the Acacia building in Kamocha, that guy was doing well. He had an amazing job. He had a good car. His nieces and nephews loved him for everything that he was doing. But there was something that was not happening well in his mind. And if he had had a chance to go and see one of these people, to just talk, what's up? What is disturbing you? Because family can really actually get on your nerves when they are pushing you to do something that you don't think is right. Oh, none of their business, none of their business. So I went to the doctor, and the doctor spoke to me. And then I was asking him, what are the causes of depression? What brings someone to that level where they really don't understand where depression is coming from? And then he told me there are different scenarios. He told me being alone can bring about depression because you're always thinking about the dream of being alone. Not being lonely, because being lonely is dangerous. Because when you're lonely, you have different thoughts in your mind, like you want to commit suicide, you don't understand what's happening, but being alone, you can be with a sitting room full of people and you're alone. So I told him to give me other scenarios. He says, if you've gone through a divorce and you really loved the guy, if one of your children is so rebellious and they don't seem to understand what's going on, and then with that, it becomes a story. It becomes crazy for you. You're trying to haggle your husband, you're trying to haggle your kids, then you have yourself. And you're like, okay, Lord, where does this go? I'm so tired, Then we have things like judgment. People judging you for what you have, the depression. People trying to understand exactly what is it, Jackie, that you have. And when you try to explain to them, they don't understand. So with that, we're like, okay, let's think that maybe she has OD'd over drug, or maybe because she takes all this medicine. You're trying to juggle what could have caused this depression. But if you're able to speak to a counselor or speak to a psychiatrist, they will be able to make you understand that depression can happen to anybody at any time. Some of us might have actually gone through the depression and we did not notice. Then a facade. We tend to have this period of a facade where we pretend to be what we're not. When we pretend that everything is okay, but it's not. And now depression has hit you. And in your mind, you're like, can I speak about depression? Everybody will be asking me, why are you pretending? What is the issue? Where does this depression come from? Are you okay? Now, people like us, like me, I am so okay talking about my situation. I'm so okay. Because why was I put on this out? Why do I have, why am I born again? Why am I born again, and why am I a child of God? Why did I start Real Talk? Real Talk. Is it for me to make excuses of other things, or is it for me to tell the truth about everything? And for me, it is to tell the truth without any favor and without anything peeled off. It's raw. And some people are like, Jackie, you're dry. I'm not dry. I am Jackie. People who have known me from when I was young know that this is Jackie. Then loss of a job. Some people can hold a job and feel like that was it for me. I've gotten a job, I have to hold it until retirement, and everything is going to be okay. No. If you hold that job so hard and let that job be number 2 after God, you will let go of that job. And unfortunately, we are not taught how to manage stress, how to manage anxiety. We are not taught. And that's the problem. We are always protected so much by our parents that we can never ever sit down and say, you know what, this happened. Okay, you have no job, so how are you going to handle it? So there's also shocking stories. People, some people actually can get depressed just by seeing so many people dying. They're in their own world, but somehow the news, the most interesting news, unfortunately, is about people who have died, people who are losing their marriages, people who have lost their jobs, people who are everything negative. Trust me, if you try and put any of those, oh, we're thankful that Susan got this job. She has been promoted to this place. Trust me, for some people, it won't even bother them. They don't want to read. It's too positive. So some people get depressed because of that. Then, my handwriting manage these days, eh? Then, generally, when I was talking to Vicky this morning, there are so many things that can bring depression in your mind. I just want to think about it because I can't read what I've written. And even just your children leaving, you feel like they're flying out of the nest, they're leaving, and you're like, oh my goodness, how am I going to be? How am I going to be without these kids? Because somehow these kids took a bit of time with you and understanding you get, and now they are all going away. Then you do not have a husband. That's another thing that can bring depression, being single. You have pressure from your parents, you have pressure from your friends, you have pressure from everybody telling you that what's happening? You have hit 30, girl, and you're 40 and you're not yet married. What is going on? And that depression exists. You may pretend on the front that I'm okay, I'm laughing. But it's very hard for some people to be alone. And I know what I'm talking about. Then, rebellious children. Some children can be so rebellious that they make the mother stressed out. Do you know that the mother is the one who spends most time with the kids vis-a-vis the other way around? And if we don't take care about our hearts and guard our hearts, tell God to guard our hearts, it's going to be something that is going to be very hard for you to manage. And when I was talking to Vicky this morning, I told her that, there are things that really bring people to a certain level of depression. Lying about your life. Basically lying about your life. Oh, my life is so good. My husband is well. All the kids are all friends. Oh, my goodness, they're at every party. They're every what. Stop it. Because when your kids finally leave, when your husband finally leaves you, I'm talking real talk right now, you won't have anywhere to hold. That's why for me personally, with my depression, I try my level best to just focus on God. I was in Kampala last week. It was good seeing Daddy, seeing Joy, seeing all the workers there and everything. It was really nice for me, And the fact that I'm not even allowed to walk out of the gate because of my lightheadedness and stuff, it was a good feel just being next to Daddy and listening to what he's saying and laughing with him. It was a good time, And one thing that is so easy in life, guys, is the truth. It is so easy, the truth. Because when you tell a lie today, you will not remember exactly how you brought out that lie. So you find it hard to revert from what you've done. And people will be looking at you and saying, what was she talking about? Why was she talking about it? Why did she even lie to us? But what we decided with Vicky is that on my side of Mbra, people ask me, why do you call it Mbra? I call it Mbra because that's how it's pronounced. Well, ABR. I told them that's how it's abbreviated. So we decided with Vicky that for the sake of other people, she's in Kampala, I'm in Mbra, I'm going to put something on my status telling women that let's get together. Any woman who might have gone through depression or is going through depression or has a child who has depression or has a husband who has depression, we are not judging. We are not judging because me and her, Vicky, we've gone through depression. I am going through depression right now. We're not judging. What we are doing is that people are complaining that they're spending so much money on medical. You're feeling funny, you go, they check, they do what, they put a syringe, they put weight, and it's just water going into your body. And then finally, a psychiatrist comes and checks on you. And you're looking at this psychiatrist and why have they sent me a shrink? What is it about me? Why have they sent me a shrink? So I want us to come together as women, even as men, for us to discuss this issue of health, of mental health. Because people have totally failed to understand mental health. They have failed. And there are things that people need to ask and they cannot ask because they are shy or they are hiding behind some fence or something. It's easy to sit down and say that, you know what, Jackie, I'm going through this thing and you are going through this thing. And then when they start talking, they realize that they are not alone. They are not alone. And depression does not choose who they should attack. I look at them like some bullet. No. Anybody can be depressed. It's just like how they say Jesus is not a respecter of persons. He does not favor, like, I'm going to favor Auntie Gwenny, or I'm going to favor Daddy, or I'm going to favor Jackie. No, it doesn't come out that way. Depression can hit anyone. I never in my life thought that I would ever be going to the mental health clinic. Me, Jackie, how? But the beauty with me is that I am always ready. I'm open. If I'm going about something, if I'm going about a divorce, if I'm going about talking about a loyal, unloyal friend, if I'm talking about a husband who doesn't seem to get it, if I'm talking about even a parent who may not be able to get it, or even talking about a sibling who may not be able to get it, I will talk. And so many people come back to me and say, oh my goodness, I thought I was alone. No, you're not alone. You're not alone. The only difference that we have is that I talk and you don't talk. So I'm going to put it on my status that we're going to form a group of people, of ladies, and this group has to honestly be confidential, because you see, that is what will let the group fall apart. I don't know why it's so hard for women, even men these days, to keep things private. Not everybody wants to be here like I am and say, you know what, I am depressed. Not people don't want that. So at the end of the day, we look at ourselves, we look at who we are, and we say, you know what, this is what we're going to do. So we decided with Vicky that we get different types of people, the women. I'm going to put it on my status, and we talk about depression and how we can overcome it as friends. Some I may not know, some I may know, and we just discuss what we are going through and see how we can help one another. Tell them the advantages and disadvantages of the antidepressants. Tell them everything. Like me with the antidepressants, I have put on so much weight, it is not even funny. But the weight will go. Hook or crook, eh? It has to go. So those are things that we need to talk about. Some people are so sick. I have seen some people who are so sick of like cancer, breast cancer, and they get so depressed because they don't know what to do. Now, I'm here to tell you that everything is possible. Prayer is possible. Being close to God is possible. Sharing with friends is possible. So, I love you all, and this is Real Talk. Bye-bye.